We can't.
We can't fix it.
The show already is terrible.
All right.
Is what I'm saying.
I'm John, and tonight I want answers about indictment and Santa Clara. There's no stopping us now because we're live.
I'm John Thompson.
I'm John A. Vink.
I'm Keith Stattenfield.
I'm Loretta Beavers.
I'm AJ Minnick.
I'm Jennifer Sim.
I'm Bobby Chastain. These stories tonight on John Wants Answers.
John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers. Give John answers. John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers now.
Welcome to the show tonight.
You don't have a web guy, I guess.
I am the web guy.
Well, you need a new web guy.
I need a new web guy.
Yeah.
You're saying that my page
Right. I'm just saying.
isn't live?
It.
What if I went
Oh,
to?
maybe now it's live. Let's
Oh,
see.
there it is. You see, refreshed. I said just
in time.
refresh.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Because I'm not going to say I tweeted that I'm on the show tonight because I've given up on Twitter.
Mine says video unavailable.
But
no longer exists.
I did post it on Threads and on Blue Sky and on Mastodon. Yeah,
You're like a social butterfly.
I am. Yeah, I'm everywhere.
I don't know what half those things are. So Mastodon, I
There's
know.
3.
Threads is a new thing that I'm not cool enough for.
Yeah, no, you are. No, if you've got an Instagram account, you've got a Threads account. It's from Facebook.
Yeah, okay. What's the other thing you said?
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
I got an invite.
I have not heard of Blue Sky.
It's from the dude that made Twitter, the Jack Dorsey. It's just like Twitter.
He's like,
But-
the same source code and
but
just
fewer
renamed.
fewer Nazis. I mean, for now. I mean, in 6
Yeah.
years, it'll probably have just as many Nazis as
Right.
Twitter. But for the moment, it's fewer Nazis.
Fewer Nazis.
Yeah.
That's always good. We all.
I think if you've got the opportunity, I think if you've got a choice, more Nazis or less Nazis,
yeah,
you want to go with the less Nazis.
I agree. Check your calendar. If it says September 14th, 2023, then we are live.
That's today. Yeah.
That's today. We have our guest tonight is Keith Stattenfield. We tried to get somebody better, but they canceled.
Yeah. No, they've seen the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get people to agree to it.
I'm as good as you get, apparently.
Yeah. I get people to agree to come on the show, and then they go and watch an episode.
Who is going to be on the show this month?
Oh, it was me, George Clooney.
Wow.
Yeah.
The wife of that well-known lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him on a flight from Winnipeg. He was in my class, so
Wow.
we talked a bit.
Yeah.
But then he watched it and goes, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly."
No, he's got a reputation to protect.
Not you.
The reputation of being George Clooney. I'm Clooney-esque.
How are you Clooney-esque? Okay.
We're both dudes.
All right. Then I'm Clooney-esque as well. I'm a silver fox.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
Clooney.
you're closer.
Yeah.
You're closer to Clooney in the hair.
Do you dye your hair? Or is it
No.
turning gray too?
I had a cut.
Yeah, okay.
I paid a guy.
You paid a guy.
Yeah,
Your frequency of cuts is getting less and less.
it is. It's down to like 3 or 4 times a year tops.
Yeah, that's all I do as well. I do 3 times a year. And I'm told when I get it done, I'm like a month overdue.
Yeah, it's often me. Yeah. If I just notice how I'm playing with it too much in the back because it's a little too long, then I need to go get it cut. This
Okay.
is a little unusual. I was out of work and I was driving by my barber, and I
You're
was
out
like,
of work?
I was not at work.
Oh, not at work. Okay.
I was driving by my barber and I was like, good Lord, it's during the day. I should just go get my hair cut. Because normally I have to do it on a Saturday.
Okay.
Because, he's open like 9 to 5. Barber hours.
Yeah.
Everything I know about barbers, I know from watching Andy Griffith's show. They had Floyd the Barber for the first season.
That show was even before my time.
Well, I was
Reruns were
before my time.
So
It was
I don't
on
know
in the
anything about it.
afternoons.
I know there's a guy named Andy. I know that Richie Cunningham was in the show.
Yeah.
And the guy, Mr. Furley, was he in the show?
No.
Don Knotts?
Oh, yeah, Don Knotts was in the show.
Yeah.
I guess he was Mr.
And there's an
Furley.
Aunt B. Was there an Aunt B?
Yeah, Aunt B.
I don't know anything about her.
It was Floyd. Floyd was the barber.
Okay.
It was only like 2 seasons. Then the actor had a stroke.
Oh.
And then there was no more Floyd. Then they
Did
managed
they-
to bring him back, but it was camera tricks because like he couldn't move his hands, he couldn't move some of his arms. So
Wait.
like they always filmed him from one side.
He had a stroke, but he
had a
didn't
st-
die? And he's still on the
Correct.
show?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It'd be more interesting if he actually died and they somehow kept him on the show. Through like cardboard
yes,
cutouts.
it would have been the 50s. That would have
Yeah.
been very, yeah.
Anyways, we're getting off track here.
No, we got time to kill on the show.
We have old business.
Sure.
So every episode I ask you this, it's about indictments.
Okay.
Has Donald Trump been indicted again in the last month?
No.
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 Answer is yes.
Still the same night. I don't think he has been. Again?
The Georgia indictment was since our last episode.
Really?
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think so. Well, let's say it was.
Okay, then yes.
Then yes, again.
I
Wow.
think it's been more than a month, though.
No, I remember because during the month I'd be like, I got another,
Okay.
and I got
sure.
another
Okay.
Donald Trump being indicted.
91 indictments.
So now this is in Georgia, in the
Yes.
state.
Correct.
It was for trying to call up the Ratzenberger guy,
It was RICO.
Rico.
Yeah, the racketeering, influence, corrupt
Yeah.
actions.
It was from him calling up that guy saying, I just need you to
It
find
was for lots of stuff. but
17,000 votes.
Yes. Yeah,
Was it-
and the fake electors and
Fake electors, okay.
sending people to the homes of various election workers to threaten them.
Oh, really?
And,
Wow, I didn't read all this.
oh, yeah. There's a lot of counts.
And it's not just him. It's like
No, it's
13
like
people?
18, 19 other people.
now someone wanted to try them all at once,
Yes, DA Fannie
Fannie
Willis.
but that was denied today.
Today. Well, the first two got carved out.
Okay.
Two of them said, I want to have a speedy trial, which, as you know, because you took the test, the Constitution guarantees all citizens.
Yes. Speedy trial.
So they'll be tried at the end of October.
Does that mean the other 17 will be in one, or they're all going to be carved out, you think?
That remains to be seen. The DA would like all of them to be in the same trial.
Do you think it
But
confusing
many
to
of them,
figure out of all these 19 people who are guilty of what?
a little bit, but as a DA, you also don't want to have to call the same witnesses to testify 19 times and
Yeah.
just
'Cause if-
scheduling 19 trials and getting 19
Let's say
juries of
A witness
12
testifies
people. And
on the first trial. Then Donald Trump calls off the witness on the phone and says, I'm going to kill you.
yeah,
And then they don't testify on the other trials. You see? You don't want that. 'Cause I heard that this Donald Trump guy, he threatens witnesses.
he has people for that.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So the least number of testimonies, the better.
yeah. Also, if you're a prosecutor and you're saying these were all participants in a very large crime, it's easier to show the very large crime and then say each of these people had a part of this than to try to convict some of the people who maybe were only involved for a smaller part of the crime.
Is it true that what happened in Georgia happened in other states as well?
I think some of it at least happened in other states. There were other states where they tried to get false elector slates.
I want to
There
say
may or may not have been other
Michigan
states where
and New Mexico.
Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada.
Should we expect more indictments from these other states?
I don't think it's that likely.
Okay.
I mean, you would need evidence in those states.
Uh-huh.
There's some evidence that the other states may not have, like voice recordings
Right.
of hour-long phone calls where secretaries of states are being harangued to violate the law. Some of the stuff happened more in Georgia. I don't know of the same level of election worker intimidation happened in other states. Georgia has a more expansive RICO law than a lot of other states, so
Okay.
it's easier to charge that there.
And it's harder to pardon somebody.
Georgia does not have the ability for a governor to pardon someone
Right.
before, and Georgia has no ability to pardon before you have completed a sentence for a
Yes,
crime.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's
I guess Georgia's a good place to have the conviction happen, if it's going to happen.
yeah. Well, it's a place. Yeah.
Do we think there's any more indictments in Donald Trump's future? Well, considering he doesn't commit more crimes after today, like from previous crimes, are there indictments in the works?
I think there's a moderate possibility they could dig up some evidence of collusion to get, Donald Trump's son-in-law got a lot of money from the Saudis shortly after they left office.
Kushner?
Yeah, Jared Kushner. There could be evidence that would arise that would show that while they were in office, they used, coerced foreign nations to try to chip in money to their businesses. We already know people, seeking to curry favor from Trump could book his Trump hotel in Washington, D.C. at very high rates and effectively, transfer money onto the table to him, not under the table, transfer money to him in a way that looked legal.
Would that be illegal?
If you're president and you say, I'm not going to sign this bill unless you guys book a $70,000 conference at my hotel, yes, that's illegal.
What if he says, I'll meet with you if you book a $2,000 room by hotel?
It's fuzzier,
Yeah.
but there could be other indictments. I mean,
Okay.
it's very possible he did other crimey type things.
I'm convinced he did
surprise
more
me.
crimey things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is possible there are other indictments. But at some point he's going to die. And once you're dead, you can't be indicted.
You can't be indicted posthumously?
Nope.
Oh,
So there's a limit.
all right.
Get him in early.
Now, there's been a lot of talk of the 14th Amendment, which means
There's some talk.
you can't
yes.
be on the ballot for elected office if you've been involved in an insurrection or provided aid to those insurrecting.
To America's enemies.
Yes. So there's a few states where that's.
There are a couple states where third parties or citizens have filed cases that say it should not be possible for Donald Trump to be on the ballot because he was involved in an insurrection against the United
Right.
States.
Do these seem to be like long shot lawsuits?
I'm not a lawyer,
Uh-huh.
but they seem kind of long shotty. Like someone has filed in Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
It is entirely, maybe the Minnesota courts would say Donald Trump can't be on the ballot. Donald Trump is not going to win Minnesota anyway.
Right.
So it's not going to matter.
So in blue states, if this happens, it won't really have much of an impact.
Correct.
But like in Alabama or Mississippi,
Yeah, but I
It'd be
don't
a
think
big
it's
impact,
been filed
but-
in any of those. The only one I've heard that I thought might matter is Arizona.
I've heard Florida also.
Well, maybe, but I am not sure those cases are going to work. Trump has not been convicted of insurrection. He hasn't even been charged with insurrection.
Although what I've
And
read is that
Jack
you don't
Sm-
need to be
You
convicted.
don't need to be. I mean, many of the people after the end of the Civil War that were prohibited from holding office were never actually charged with insurrection.
Right.
But, most of them wore uniforms for the Confederate Army. And you can point to that as a clear, the Confederacy declared war in the United States. And so that was clearly a aiding America's enemies. I think it is a lot tougher case to say that what Trump does is the kind of act that this part of the 14th Amendment was supposed to cover. And in particular, I don't think the 6 conservative judges in the Supreme Court, which is who would eventually rule on this almost certainly, are going to come down and say. They're going to say, really, the American people should have the ability to elect a president.
Would a state matter, though, go to the U.S. Supreme Court?
I'm pretty sure it's a federal election, and they would say that that is sufficient. I mean, California tried to say you cannot appear on the California ballot as a presidential candidate if you have not released your last 8 years' worth of tax returns.
Okay.
And that was declared unconstitutional. I don't
Oh.
recall if it was state constitution or federal constitution, but that was pretty quickly. Like, I think the very first, the lowest level court it got to was like, oh yeah, that the Constitution says, natural born citizen, 35 years of age or older,
Non-restricted.
not a resident of the same state as the other person on the ballot with you.
Wait, what's that last one?
The Electoral College cannot vote for two candidates for president and vice president who are residents of the same state.
So your
Which is
VP
why Dick Cheney had to suddenly say he lived in Wyoming, even though he had lived for 30 plus years in Texas just before he got picked as.
That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, when they set it up, they did not want any one state to be able to dominate the federal government, so they said president and vice president have to be in different states.
Okay.
But it turns out what state you live in is something you pretty much declare.
Just say, do you have to own property or have a
You have to
residence?
own property. You have to be registered to vote.
Okay. Well, next up, more old business. Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden,
Now he's been indicted.
just today.
So our show is,
Topical.
we're topical and we're fair. We're going to talk about both indictments.
Okay.
Hunter Biden was indicted for gun charges,
Yes.
and because he claimed not to be a drug user when he bought a gun.
He walked into a store, I think in Delaware, said, I would like to buy a revolver. It's America. They said, we would love to sell you a revolver.
Yes.
He was like, do I need to prove I'm a good person? I'm taking gun classes? And they're like, God, no, this is America. You can buy any gun you want anytime.
Uh-huh.
All you have to do is write your name at the top of this form and answer some simple questions. And then we'll send that form to the ATF, and they'll do a background check in 18 hours, and then you get to get your gun.
Okay.
And he was like, Hunter Biden, at department I'm living in. And then, like, one of the questions was, are you currently addicted to any scheduled illegal drugs?
Uh-huh.
And he went, I'm not currently addicted to any scheduled illegal drugs.
Oh, okay.
And then they gave him the gun.
But it turns out he was addicted to drugs?
Turns out he was, well, I mean, I don't know if a doctor said he was addicted, but he was a drug user. He was
Okay.
taking illegal narcotics at the time.
Is this
not
normally
sure
a
which
thing
ones.
that will get you indicted in a federal court?
No.
No.
They're trying to find people that have been indicted for this, and it's pretty rare.
Okay. Usually there's like an add-on charge. Like if you're charged with
it's usually
shooting
like
somebody.
if you end up murdering 7 people,
Yeah.
and it turns out that you went and bought the drugs while you were addicted to heroin,
Uh-huh.
they will put 7 murder charges, and then they'll throw in, and you violated the gun laws a couple
Oh,
times.
okay. Now, if he's guilty, if he's found guilty in a court of law,
Yeah.
is it like jail time?
There are 3 charges. Lying on a federal form.
Okay.
The second charge is lying to the person you're buying the gun from about the exact same thing that's on the federal form.
That's like 2 charges for the same thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the third one is actually owning a gun while you're addicted to illegal drugs.
Second Amendment doesn't mention drugs.
It doesn't, no. And there were no such laws like this around in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So it is very unclear, given other recent Supreme Court rulings, whether this is even a crime anymore.
Anymore. Wait, when the...
Well, we believed it was a crime 2 years ago,
Okay.
and the Supreme Court, in a decision this year, said
Oh.
things that restrict Second Amendment rights need to further conform to these guidelines we just made up.
Oh. So it could be that this law doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah. There are people in prison for violating this law right now.
But not
And-
anyone since today.
Well, no one's in prison that violated today.
Yeah.
No, because it takes time.
Is it surprising that he got indicted for this charge?
No,
No.
no. Half the country wants him murdered.
Murdered.
Yeah. They think he should be strung up for something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard talk of impeachment of the current president.
Yeah.
Is that tied into this?
I don't think that's tied into this because
Okay.
there's no indication Biden had
Yeah,
anything to do with
this.
this.
Right.
I mean, Biden knew his son had a drug problem. The Biden family was trying to help their son get over it. They got him into recovery. He had the gun for 11 days.
That's it?
He went and bought the gun, and then his wife or girlfriend or some friend of his was like,
Dude,
he's just going to murder himself with this gun because he's
Oh.
depressed right now. And they took the gun away, and they took it back to a gun store.
Oh, okay. Same
And
gun
there's no
store?
indication Biden had any knowledge of that.
Right.
He was out of office at the point in time it happened, so he didn't.
He was not vice president?
No, because it was
that's in
after
2016?
Yeah.
So he probably wanted to kill himself because of the new president.
I don't think that's the reason.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's enough for old business. Time for
Yeah.
new business.
Sure.
So, you are a citizen of Santa Clara, correct?
I am. Yes, I'm a resident and a citizen.
So, Santa Clara put out a news release. that
Sure.
They're renaming themselves Swiftie Clara.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you receive mail addressed to Swiftie
I
Clara?
did not. No, I don't think the post office officially changed the city name.
So your zip code didn't change?
The zip code stayed the same.
Stayed the same.
Still starts with a 9.
If someone sent you a letter that says Swiftie Clara, but the correct zip code, you probably still get
I've
it.
probably gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly it's zip code that matters these days. I mean, they would have put a big corrected barcode over it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, Taylor Swift, it's all about Taylor Swift.
Sure.
She was named mayor of
Honorary mayor.
Swiftie Clara.
Honorary mayor. Yeah. Yeah.
And was there like an election?
No.
No.
No, there's no election for honorary mayor. I think there's just a proclamation.
Oh, so the
And it's just because the people on city council want to meet Taylor Swift.
current mayor proclaimed all this.
It might have been the whole council,
whole
or it might have been the
council.
mayor. I don't know.
So then, did
But I saw a picture in council chambers, and it was multiple city council people.
was
and
Taylor Swift there?
I saw the Beyonce picture. I don't know if I saw a Taylor Swift picture.
Oh. What can people expect under a Taylor Swift administration?
I think you can expect the stadium curfew to be violated,
Okay.
and a lot of Swifties to show up at the stadium wearing those bracelets, singing those Taylor Swift songs.
They have special bracelets?
But yeah, she's all about the bracelets.
You know, I understand that Taylor Swift is very popular right now.
She is.
I only know one song of hers,
Wow.
and that song is from like 4 years
Is
ago.
it Shake It Off?
No.
You don't know Shake It Off?
Shake it off. No, I don't think I know that. I couldn't sing it for you.
Okay, it's okay.
The song I know is "You Need to Calm Down." You know that
Well, I'm not a big Swiftie either.
song? Okay.
I know Shake It Off, because I've heard it a lot. Heard
You
it
Need to Calm Down. I
heard it
often
like
tell my
10
girlfriend.
times in an hour and a half once.
My girlfriend doesn't like it when I tell her that.
No,
No.
there's a lot of stuff. You're a handful.
I'm a handful.
Yeah. You're lucky. You're lucky to have the girlfriend you have. So
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Can't argue there.
Yeah.
Is there any like legislation in the town charter that says they can have honorary mayors?
No particular idea.
Okay, so then
A week later.
this all happened, but a week later,
Yeah.
Beyonce comes to town,
Yeah. Baby.
and they didn't rename themselves Beyonce Clara.
No, you only rename yourselves like once every 6 months.
So,
Post office gets it.
but they did two things. They
Sure.
named her honorary mayor,
Yes.
just like Taylor Swift,
Sure.
and they gave her a key to the city.
Yes.
What lock does that key to the city
I
unlock?
don't think there's any.
Was it like an oversized, like,
I did not see a
Key.
picture of a key.
you didn't see it either?
No.
Oh.
When I was young, the guy that lived next to us
Yes.
had been mayor of the city I lived in before I was born, and
yeah.
when I was up to when I was 4.
How big is your town?
It was like 100 and some odd thousand
Oh,
people
wow.
at the time. It was a big,
Reasonable town.
So
Did you
he
ask him
had
for
an
advice?
office in the basement of his house. You know, he wasn't mayor anymore. He was
Right. Retired mayor.
he was a lobbyist.
Oh, okay.
Once I explained to my mother that he was a lobbyist, and she's like, "Oh no, he's not a lobbyist. He just goes and talks to the state representatives about things. He's a good person. And I was like, yeah, lobbyist.
Wait,
Yeah.
does that imply that lobbyists are bad people?
That's my mother was under the belief that all lobbyists are bad people, but not our nice former next door neighbor Bill.
I'm
He
not
was one of
saying
the good
she's
ones.
wrong about lobbyists being
yeah.
bad people. But she
But he
seems
in
like
the
your
basement
neighbor.
of his house had like an office.
Yeah.
And in his office, he had all of his mayoral memorabilia.
Hmm.
And one of them was a big key of the city of Racine.
Wow. Did you
which
ever
was
ask
made
what
out of
that
plywood, and
unlocked?
I didn't. It was very large.
You couldn't really fit it on your keychain, could you?
No. And you had to unscrew it from the board.
These keys to the city seem very.
It's almost
Not
like it's a
very useful.
PR stunt.
Yeah,
Yeah, almost.
almost.
Yeah.
Well, so, do we have any more pop stars coming to Santa Clara?
I think Ed Sheeran's here this Saturday.
Did he get a key to the city?
I haven't seen yet. It'd be probably Friday.
Is
I mean,
it Sheeran
they've
and
got to
Clara?
be in town because they got to show up.
Uh-huh.
Like you're not going to name someone honorary mayor and have them not show up to receive the honorary mayorship. And since he's on tour, right, he probably doesn't get to town till Friday.
Well,
for a
all these
Saturday
previous
concert.
pop stars have been on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was always like the day of the concert or the day before the concert.
Okay.
So maybe tomorrow. Ed Sheeran, Ed Sheen,
So it would be
Ed
Sheeran Clara?
something.
What would they name it?
Ed Clara? Sheer Clara? Santa Sheeran? It's hard to say. I got friends in council I could call and ask.
Could you? Do you now?
Not now.
Oh, not now.
No, it's
Well, we're
it's
live.
almost
I
10
mean-
o'clock at night. They're
They're in bed?
I don't know if they're in bed because
Okay.
I've seen them at city council meetings at 1 in the morning. So they're not going to bed early people, but they're
Exactly.
also not. I'm going to call you live from John's crazy TV show people.
In the time between now and next episode, could you call me?
I'll see. I'll
Okay.
yeah.
It'll be next month's old business will be Keith telling us who he called and what they said about Ed
I might
Sheeran.
text them.
Or
If
maybe
that's okay.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I know you're not that close to them, apparently.
Just people don't call. Just text.
Okay.
Like if you can text someone instead of calling them, you should text them.
Okay, then tell me this: why does Siri, a product of your company,
Sure.
tell me to call you on your birthday when we both know
That ain't happening.
none of us wants that?
Yeah.
You'd
It's-
think engineers would know
Siri's trying to improve our relationship.
that. Okay.
Yeah. It cares about us. Well, about me in particular. Like the voice guy at Apple came by and was like, does, name of our current voice thing, pronounce your name correctly? And I was like, not quite.
Ooh.
He was like, how is it? I'm like, Stattenfield. He's like, Stattenfield. And then he went back and he
Yeah.
typed in some shit and checked it in. Now it says my name correctly.
When I worked at Apple, I worked on the iPod Shuffle,
Yeah.
and it had no buttons.
No.
If you held down like the microphone button,
Yeah.
it would tell you the name of the song.
Yeah, it
the
had a
artist.
button.
And I had to tell them, you're pronouncing NXS wrong.
Yeah.
And
And
so
they
they,
fixed it.
they
Yeah,
did
they
the thing,
Fixed
and
it.
they fixed it.
Probably the same guy. You might know who he is.
I don't know who that guy was.
Okay,
So
okay.
I don't know if it was the same guy or not.
Well, look,
But,
credits.
Oh, well, that's been a show.
Yeah. I mean, the show's over, John.
The show's over.
Talk fast.
Well,
Next month.
next month we'll be seeing you. We'll be hearing about new pop stars come to Levi Stadium.
One new one. It might only be one.
It's only going to be one?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of the stadium schedule yet.
Oh. They have a lot of concerts, don't they?
And they're ramping up.
Is the Super Bowl coming
I think it is.
next year?
It might be in 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
I think it was 10 years after the last one. I think it's the 60th.
Is it every 10 years they get